This is a paid program. JJ Publicidad, EMR, and its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guest.
Are you looking for awareness, motivation, inspiration, or just some feel-good talk radio? If so, you've come to the right place. Dr. Nancy knows how to do just that. With her extensive experience and knowledge, she is dedicated to providing care, health, and wellness information and education to the greater Phoenix metropolitan area and beyond. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Dr. Nancy knows. Starts now.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody had a wonderful week. Remember, this is Dr. Nancy Knows. I'm your medical celebrity. The show that brings on experts that guests are experts in their field of industry, along with celebrities that are doing things in the community. Dr. Nancy Knows is multicultural. Remember, I bridge the gap of disparity and uniting our nation through our guest and my years of experience in the industry. It only takes one, the power of one. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Listen, I'd like to start out by thanking my guest, my sponsors and supporters of Dr. Nancy Knows. We've been doing this for a little while, and I'm so grateful to be supported and loved. And, it's just been a wonderful. I love doing what I'm doing, and I hope that it really comes through. Our friends here at E-Motion Radio, Javier, Julianne, and Veronica, they do a wonderful job here each week putting on this beautiful show. And we're streamed live on Facebook Live. We're live streamed on drnancyknows.com. Dr. Nancy Knows YouTube as well, and we're on Spotify and TuneIn. So please, lots of channels in which to listen and view. We do welcome your questions, so please don't hesitate. Facebook Live on eMotion Radio or Dr. Nancy Knows, and type in some of your questions that you may have. We have a wonderful guest coming up today. Her name is Micaela Bensko, and she has a nonprofit. And she talks about how Veterans in Pain, how she founded this organization. And she's going to tell us her journey, and her story when she gets on the show on the next segment. So let me continue to thank my supporters and sponsors. Profit Laser Lipo, Gary Charlson. Revision is a device, a medical device distribution organization, a company nationwide. David Tucker and his team, we thank you for your support. We have also Sonoma Oral Facial, the laser spa at Sonoma, and that is Lynn and Peter. Thank you so much. Oh, and listen, thank you. Good morning. Dr. Nancy, Maggie's Makeup. She works some magic on me this morning. She always does. And, peace of mind and how you look and feel really starts with mindset. But then when you put makeup on too and dress it up a little bit, woohoo, I feel miraculous. Thank you, Maggie. Listen, we also want to thank HotWorks. So this week I had a magnificent workout, and if you don't know what HotWorks is, there is about 130 chains nationwide. You know, this is internet radio, so we are coming to you here locally in Scottsdale, Arizona, but, you know, we are all over, nationally and internationally. So HotWorks. So what is HotWorks? HotWorks is an infrared sauna where there are equipment, workout equipments like a cycle, bike, where you can work out for minutes, you know, half hour, 45 minutes in temperatures of 125 degrees. Infrared, it warms your body up internally, detoxifies, purifies your skin, increases your blood flow and circulation, helps with blood sugar, and it also decreases your blood pressure. HotWorks. So I want to thank my friends over at HotWorks off of East Bell, Scottsdale, and that's Kasha Moon, and Lonnie was at the facility when I was there. Thank you, Lonnie. Thank you guys at HotWorks. So listen, let's get to current events. I usually like to start out by talking about COVID. COVID's been with us for some time, but you know what? We are gaining control of it. I hope everyone feels the same way. Doing your part is key and essential. Practicing social distancing, covering your face, and staying home when you're sick. But not only that, the vaccine is out and it's available, and we've almost got 3 players involved. So we've got Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. Now, Pfizer and Moderna, as you know, are 2 shots. Now, Pfizer came out this past week stating that their vaccine doesn't necessarily need to be kept in an ultra cold freezer. They said regular refrigeration is something that would be acceptable, and we don't know technically how long will this vaccine last. You know, once you get the 2 doses by Pfizer and Moderna. But the CEO of Pfizer said that a third dose, 6 months after your first dose, a booster dose is what he calls it, can really be lasting for about a year. And they're looking at the possibility of an annual shot for the vaccine. Johnson & Johnson is just a single shot. We can't wait for that to come out any day now. And it's 72% effective as opposed to Pfizer Moderna, which is 95%. Researchers and experts, CDC says, do not worry about the effectiveness. Get the vaccine for those that are immunocompromised right now. We're still in phase 1 and 2. Healthcare workers, first-line workers, those individuals who need it really get it. Johnson & Johnson states that about 100% with those individuals that get Johnson & Johnson's COVID vaccine will keep individuals out of the hospital. So let's talk about the numbers. They are really starting to just stabilize. 28.5 million cases of COVID, United States. Worldwide, 113 million. Deaths, over 510,000, but that number it's really starting to stabilize. And worldwide, over 2.5 million. Let's see. Now, let's talk about more about COVID. I want to tell you that there are 8 things to know before you get your second shot. If, you know, there's many people that haven't gotten their second shot, but there's, I believe, 46 million people that have gotten their first initial COVID shot. So we are gaining ground on COVID. 8 things for your second shot. Side effects. You can feel achy and have a fever and headache, but it's really transient as well. Timing your dose between getting those 2 shots, and make sure you stay with the same distributor. And then sometimes there's a COVID rash, but again, it's not something that lasts long. And let's see, one other thing. Do not get your Tdap or like shingles vaccine within that time frame that you're getting that first or second COVID shot. Now, I do want to say it's Black History Month, and I often say why do we need a month to celebrate Black History Month? But we have one. I'd like to celebrate it every day. Now, there is a quote that I've been doing once every week, every week in this month. And our quote this last week in the month it's by Martin Luther King, and he states, "Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase." And so, here at Dr. Nancy Knows, we talk about not letting fear paralyze you and keeping one foot in front of the other. And faith is no different. Faith without works is dead. And sometimes you really just have to step out of your comfort zone and realize, what your value is, and it'll challenge you to what you actually discover about yourself. Because the gifts that you may know that you have, when you push yourself at that extra mile, you discover that you have gifts and talents that you hadn't even discovered before. So take a chance. Step outside your comfort zone. So listen, guys, I do want to tell you that Dr. Nancy Knows, Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine, here in Scottsdale, 2 locations, we offer a number of services, primary care, we offer telemedicine, we offer aesthetics as well, health and well visits, we offer vaccines too. And if you're ever interested and you're locally here and you would like to schedule an appointment, you can go to drnanciesintegrativemedicine.com and schedule online to meet with me and my staff to see what services we may have to offer you as well. Now, our friends and partners at Ally Spine Care, Dr. Christopher Condon, he is actually still has this special on for new clients to come in to have an evaluation of your spine. Here at Dr. Nancy Knows, and what I stand for is health, prevention, and maintenance. And you won't know what you have to maintain if you don't come in to get an evaluation. So Dr. Condon has a special for $50 to come in to do a spine evaluation along with digital x-rays for $50. Now, you can't get that just about anywhere. And he is a lovely person and is waiting for you to give him a call today. Now, listen, we have Micaela Bensko coming up next after the break, and she is on fire for her cause. It's a nonprofit, Veterans In Pain V.I.P., and she's going to tell us her journey and her story when we come back. We'll be right back.
You don't want to miss what's coming up next, because Dr. Nancy Knows. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nancy. Welcome to our clinics. We believe that personalized care and relationship building are the basis of improving health outcomes. At Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine, you gain healthcare providers who take the time to understand your health goals and find solutions. We offer optional medical memberships, giving you peace of mind and quality care. We provide both medical and aesthetic services in 2 Arizona locations. We practice the highest standards of patient care. We respect patients' rights. We safeguard patient confidences. We treat patients with compassion. You are invited to call the office to schedule an appointment or online at a time that is convenient for you. Call to schedule 480-669-6452 or visit our website at drnanciesintegrativemedicine.com. Are you a business owner looking for ways to invest in your staff's health? Their well-being is key to a long-lasting employment life. NG Care's healthcare membership packages allow you to leverage pre-tax dollars and applicable tax health incentives. Hi, I'm Dr. Nancy of Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine, introducing NG Care's healthcare membership packages to include primary care and injury office visits, management of acute and chronic disease, 24/7 telehealth services, preventative care, labs, immunizations, and chiropractic office visits. You receive discounts on diagnostics and services offered at Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine as a preferred member. Combine this with paycheck protection plans such as accident, short-term disability, hospital bridge, And a life insurance is priceless. 2 plans to choose from, Elite and or Pro. Packages starting at as low as $225 a month. Remember, NG cares about you. For more information, you can go to ngcares.com or call us today at 480-669-6452.
You're listening to Dr. Nancy Knows Radio Talk Show. Ask your questions now. Dr. Nancy is listening.
Good morning. We are back. And listen, guys, you do not want to miss our next guest. And I want to edify her and introduce her. Micaela Bensko. She is president and founder of V.I.P, and it's official IRS-registered 501c3 nonprofit. V.I.P, facilitating orthobiologic and alternative medical solutions for veterans suffering from chronic pain by connecting volunteer medical practitioners, physicians, with our country's heroes nationwide. Bensko has a family lineage back to the Civil War, so supporting our returning service men and women is her blood, is in her blood. However, it wasn't until she began her position as VP of her family's foundation, Rebuilding America's Warriors, RAW, in 2006, that she just developed an empathy for our veterans' battle here at home. The tables turned swiftly in 2011, October of 2011, when she suffered an accident resulting in a wheelchair, and over 20 spine surgeries and procedures, and 6 years with 80% of bed bound due to the diagnosis of 2 of the most devastating chronic pain diseases known as arachidonus, with complications of CRPS, that is, of the spine, complex regional pain syndrome, or otherwise known as reflex sympathetic dystrophy. A stem cell transplant in 2017, donated by a family friend, changed her life forever. Realizing the magnitude of the effect of orthobiologics can have and the inaccessibility of this science for veterans, in 2018, the concept of VIP was born. Without further ado, let me introduce you to Micaela Bensko. Hi, Micaela.
Everyone, how are you?
Really good. Thank you for taking the time out to be on the show with me today.
Oh, I can't thank you enough for having me on. I just love you to death, so this is easy.
I remember when we first met. I remember, Micaela, when we first met, it was instant attraction. And what I've always spoke of on the show was align yourself with individuals that give you value and things that you aspire and look up to, and you can see yourselves in that individual. And we instantly connected. You lead from your heart, and you have such compassion, and it's in everything that you do and say. And so, I was so elated, to know when I asked you to be on the show that you make the time to do that with me and for me, to actually, share your journey and story, because, it's one to be heard, and we all have a story, and it's all about inspiration and motivation, and I see that in you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for saying that. I really do appreciate it. It's relationships such as the one that we have personally and professionally that brings so much joy to my life, and also your willingness to be a part of our program at Veterans in Pain, and to be one of our valued, invaluable physicians in our national network that provide these services, volunteering their services, to these veterans that are suffering so much from these chronic pain conditions.
Well, I think that it's the least that I can do, and if everyone shares that same sentiment and volunteering your services and that skill set that you have, particularly to our veterans who have protected our country. Near and dear to me, I have family that are veterans as well, and if there's a way that I can help, I am all in, and it was a no-brainer to become a part of your program and to help in any way that I can. So tell me a little bit more about, one, your journey. I did eloquently read your bio and how you came up with the idea of VIP. I can tell you that it's been growing, your network nationwide, in Canada as well. And then as of November of this past year, VIP has facilitated approximately $1 million worth of value in orthobiologics and alternative services to veterans to our country and Canada as well. So that's such an accomplishment.
Thank you to our village.
That's exactly
and it's
right.
funny when you say, if finding or establishing this foundation. The interesting thing is it really did find me in the most devastating of ways, but then again, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world, just because of where it's brought me. But to go back to the beginning a little bit, the story has many layers to it, and it starts with an amazing woman who was my mother, Maggie Lockridge. So my whole family's military, like you mentioned, and yes, we go back to the Civil War. Both my parents were in the Air Force. My mom was an RN, and so so she's in civilian life. She's on her own. She starts this the post-operative reconstructive care facility in Beverly Hills. So years ago, probably 20, 30 years ago. And so she operates this, and A-list celebrities stay there, and she has patients from the finest plastic surgeons and reconstructive surgeons from all over Los Angeles, right? People were flying in from everywhere. So after 20 years of this, 18,000 patient nights, she retires. Wow. Goes to Palm Springs, and she's never one to really be retired. And she's watching a special, and she sees Bob Woodruff on a special, and he's discussing the issues that our veterans are facing nowadays and what's going on. And she noticed that so many of our veterans were returning and being discharged by the VA. They're coming back wounded. They're being discharged mechanically functional, right? But the aesthetics weren't necessarily being addressed. So she's like, well, I have this roster of amazing doctors. They're all reconstructive specialists. So literally, I think within a few weeks, she had established RAW, which is Rebuilding America's Warriors. And that offers free reconstructive surgery to troops returning from Iraq, Afghanistan, and beyond for combat wounded. So I came on right away as VP, and we did that. That was 2006. So we were very busy during that period of time. And the organization is still ongoing. It's still very active. So, but the tables turned a little bit. And so finally I'm doing this. And then in 2011, I had an accident in my driveway where the electric tailgate was coming down, and I was standing up from my car, picking up groceries and last bag and picking it up, and the corner of the tailgate lodges in my temple. Oh. And so if it had hit me on top of the head, we would have been fine. I would have been dancing along. But the power of it coming down and it not releasing and my going up, the physics of it was so intense that it literally inverted my cervical spine. And I had a delicate lumbar spine from an accident when I was in college, and that blew out. So here we start this journey, very unexpected journey, and had over 20 spine surgeries and procedures and you name it. We try to have intrathecal pain pumps, spinal stimulators, north and south, every type of modality that you can imagine. I dove into it and nothing would help. And so I was in bed for 6 years because the disease, it's an autoimmune disease, chronic pain disease, which is what chronic pain is. And it's called arachnoiditis. And so with arachnoiditis, they call it the suicide disease. And many of our veterans suffer from this, which is what I found out later. So one puncture to the dura of the lining of your spinal cord, anything interfering within the nerves within the dura. So an injection goes in, just one. A woman can go in to have an epidural with her very first child. This can happen. And the body responds with a systemic, centralized autoimmune reaction. It thinks that it's an invasion that's occurring. So it responds with inflammation within the cord and plaque that builds up around the nerves within the dura. So what happens is there's no cure, from what they were saying, there's no cure, and it only gets worse with time. And so you end up literally, if I put pressure on my tailbone, I would end up with labor contractions in my cord, in my lumbar cord, in my lumbar spine. And these would happen every 10 to 15 minutes around the clock. Wow. And then they would peak and then they go away. So I had to lay in bed all the time. So during this period of time, I'm talking to a bunch of our guys as a group. They're like my battle buddies from Raw. They're like my brothers. And we're talking, we're comparing notes, and I'm just sharing what's going on. And they're saying, really? And all of a sudden there were these similarities here and there. And it was a wake-up call to, okay, well, these veterans, do they have access to what I have access to? Long story short, ended up going to UCLA, went through their chronic pain program with Dr. Joshua Prager, who is the foremost expert on complex regional pain syndrome, arachnoiditis, and systemic autoimmune chronic pain diseases that exist. And went through ketamine, highly intensive ketamine comas from 10 in the morning until about 4 or 5 o'clock at night for 2 solid weeks, 5 days a week. And then after that was a multidisciplinary program from 8 to 5. And that was another 4 or 6 weeks, I don't remember. So here we are. I've gotten to the point where I can survive, but I'm not living. And it was to the point where I could not go on another 40 years. There was no way. I couldn't survive it.
So your story, starts to sound as though, depression, anxiety, chronic pain starts to set in, and it's completely relevant and relatable to veterans. And what you had at your disposal and which you tapped into was the resources that RAW offered, and you being VP of it as well, and it allowed your network to grow, and you discovered other areas.
Oh, no, actually, it's interesting, though, because what RAW does is a little bit, it's completely separate than what we're doing. But what happened was at June 28th of 2017, my friend of mine that happened to have the same condition that I did in my spine, and we got closer because of it. And she said, I found out about this stem cell transplant in Arizona. So I'm like, stem cell? That's snake oil. You've got to be kidding me. That's too simple, right? Don't we say that? If something is natural, it's too simple. That's so right. There's no way that could do anything. No way that could touch this. And so anyway, I said, right, you're my guinea pig. You go. So she went and had it done. I was helping her pick out wheelchairs in the beginning, and before she left. And so she goes, she has this adipose-derived IV stem cell transplant. And within 48 hours, she could move the toes in her left foot that she hadn't moved in 13 years. Yes. And 6 weeks later, she's walking her kid to school.
Amazing.
Okay. All right. I'll try. How much is it? Oh, $24,000. Oh, so a family friend donated the funds for me to be able to have this procedure.
Nice. We
go to Arizona. I have the transplant. And by the very next day, June 28th of 2017, since then, I've not had one spinal contraction. I was able to go back into physical therapy and learn to walk again. I was still in my wheelchair outside the house, but my quality of life increased by at least 75%. So I'm thinking, why isn't this available all our veterans are suffering from chronic pain, where the system, their medical system, doesn't have a diagnosis for chronic pain in their input for their physicians, nor a coding for it. And so there's not this understanding of it as a systemized, centralized autoimmune disease of the nervous system, which requires massive anti-inflammatory protocols. And OrthoBiologics is the science where these solutions can be bred. So established veterans in pain, and then this is where RAW comes in, because what we did with RAW was very grassroots, reached out one by one. We went national. It was just in LA, and then we went national. So now we have almost 500 doctors in all 50 states, and facilitated almost 1,000 procedures with RAW. So, I'm going to do what my mama did. So I was copy paste. All right, I'm going to start reaching out to all the people that I know what I don't know, and let's get this puppy started. And basically, all the right resources and people and hearts came this way, and started supporting what we were trying to do. And now we have a national network of physicians, and we're just, and it's amazing, to be able to facilitate what we do. There's no way we could do it without our physicians, without products that gets donated. Funds are essential for us to be able to cover the hard costs for our physicians. There's a lot, it's a big village.
Well, that's important. And, I'm a part of that network. And, it really is satisfying when you can help someone, let alone our veterans that are in chronic pain, with treatment modalities that are proven and effective. Although stem cell is still can be controversial in our country, but tell us, Micaela, how does a veteran get a hold of your services and get connected? I mean, besides, following up with me, Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine, and I can put them in touch, but you have a website, you have information that individuals can reach out to you as well?
Oh, absolutely. Besides being on social media everywhere, our website is veteransinpain.org, and you can definitely reach out through there. We have an application on the site. If you go underneath the Veterans tab, you'll see step 1, step 2, step 3. And you submit the application as step 1, step 2 is the waiver, step 3 is the most important part, and that's scheduling your Zoom intake. So I personally sit down and have a one-on-one Zoom, which is 60 to 90 minutes with every single veteran that has applied to our program. And we get to know you, and we explain the science of orthobiologics, because we say stem cells, but it's not really all stem cells. Orthobiologics and regenerative medicine is an umbrella for all of these amazing regenerative modalities, and with growth factors and hyaluronic acids and proteins. So it's an educational process as well, and guiding them to prepare for a procedure, get to know them, and triage the symptoms, as well as really get to know, I want to know their story. And when you do that, when you finally listen to a veteran and you care, which is so rarely found for them in the medical field, you end up, oh, wait a minute, we think it might be this issue, but actually it looks like it might be this issue. And, we've learned a lot along the way, but mostly that our veterans are suffering more than ever before, and they really need this access to orthobiologic.
You have such a caring, giving heart, and you put so much time and energy in what you do personally. And then you also connect the veteran to the state that they are part of or close to, and with that healthcare provider, that physician as well, because you get to know them as well. So how does, if physicians are listening today, and or listeners that know physicians, providers, healthcare practitioners, they'd like to get involved with your program, what is the process to, volunteer their services?
Well, first of all, on our website, again, veteransinpain.org, and look under the physicians tab. Actually, right now it just says physicians application on the top. So you submit that entry form, And it has the basic information we need to get started. And then we'll set up our Zoom, get to know one another. And it's a very personal process. The most important thing is that this experience is how our physicians feel and experience this whole process is just as important to us as how our veterans do. And it's a very personal process. It gets out of the box a little bit because very often our physician will reach out personally on their cell phone to our veteran and have that one-on-one connection. And then they schedule the consult. And then basically we facilitate consultations with potential for procedure with the physician volunteering their services at no cost.
You do that all the time with me. And you're right, it's tax deductible as well. So it's very meaningful to do what
we have to be careful with saying tax deductible because we don't know.
I see.
Especially as a 501c3, everything's different and every state is different, but there certainly can be benefits in many ways, especially in bringing awareness.
That's
a lot
exactly
of we
right.
have physicians that team up with our veteran and they help bring awareness to what's needed. And that's what I love most about our platform is the fact that we have a voice right now and we can let people know what needs to change. And there's so much to this. Our long-term goal is the VIP Regenerative Therapies for Veterans Act.
Yes.
And we're working on this right now with Dr. Ashin Gupta and Dr. David Harshfield in Arkansas. And it's for government vouchers or funding for these alternative solutions that are really the solution, which is the solution for the systemic chronic pain and these degenerative conditions that is so difficult for our veterans to find access to.
Now, I do have a question about, with COVID still, ravishing our country, however, getting better, has it changed the way that you do business with the veterans and events that you put together?
Oh, it's changed everything, but not necessarily for the worse in some ways. When the pandemic started, everybody not everybody, me, myself, and everybody, I got onto LinkedIn and I'd never been on there really before. I had an account for years, but that's not fun. It's the best decision I've made in being able to connect organically with our physicians as well as our veterans on there. Fiscally, that's been most devastating for everybody. It's been devastating for nonprofits and our physicians. But in a way, we want to flip the coin. The silver lining is, and this is what I hear from our physicians, that our program could not have come around at a better time because they have the time and they can personally develop these relationships with these veterans because they're slower now and have this amazing experience without feeling rushed. And then other companies that have pitched in, like Insight, it's incredible, and Plymouth Medical, and they've been donating collection kits, PRP kits for us, and the pure PRP, from Insight, and so that cost isn't there here. Whereas before, people are coming together. They're really, I call it a village. It really is a village, with the baker and the coffee shop and the grocery market and
it really is, Micaela.
We all depend on one another to make it happen.
It really is. It's certainly a village, and the silver lining that you speak of, the power of an individual that really wants to make a difference, and timing is everything. So that's really great regarding having the ability and the time to make things necessary, make themselves available, to make the resources available. You work tireless hours in working with and getting accounts set up with organizations that will donate a lot of the supplies and the facilities and the things that these veterans need. And our nonprofits often, I say, are unsung heroes. And, I really wanted to have you come on the show today to tell you and allow people to know what you do and to thank you for what you do as well. We really appreciate what you do.
Thank you. And if I can just say one last thing, I have to offer the most heartfelt gratitude to Burn Pits 360. BurnPits360.org is the leader in burn pit awareness, leadership, and legislation. And they have you can register there as well as a veteran with burn pit. And I believe they have over 10,000 veterans on there right now. And Burn Pits 360 is now our official partner.
Nice.
And so they had just funded, and they're funding our veterans. So they're able to fund the hard costs that we do need for these veterans that are suffering from burn pit, but happen to have these secondary issues and conditions related to it that we're able to help with. And we can't do this without organizations such as Burn Pits 360 and Rosie Torres and Leroy and her husband, who suffered for so long. And they have legislation on Capitol Hill, and it's taken them 10 years to get there, and they're doing something absolutely amazing. And it all started out because Leroy had originally come to our program for help. So it's just a family from beginning to end. We're very, very grateful.
Well, nothing happens by chance, that's for sure. And I believe it strongly. The energy, that positive energy that you put out in the universe, it does come back. So that which you seek seeks you, right? So, we've talked a little bit about your journey and your mentors and how your mother has really empowered you and been instrumental in your life as well. Pitfalls, right, along the way, and life lessons. At the end of the day, we all have them. Nothing is perfect, but it's the experiences that we go through that, when we go through it, how we are when we get through it, right, at the end of it as well. So listen, Micaela, we're almost out of time for this segment, and we're going to come back because I want to know more about your book and your blog, and stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You don't want to miss what's coming up next because Dr. Nancy knows. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nancy. Welcome to our clinics. We believe that personalized care and relationship building are the basis of improving health outcomes. At Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine, you gain healthcare providers who take the time to understand your health goals and find solutions. We offer optional medical memberships, giving you peace of mind and quality care. We provide both medical and aesthetic services in 2 Arizona locations. We practice the highest standards of patient care. We respect patients' rights. We safeguard patient confidences. We treat patients with compassion. You are invited to call the office to schedule an appointment or online at a time that is convenient for you. Call to schedule 480-669-6452 or visit our website at drnanciesintegrativemedicine.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nancy of Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine. I'd like to tell you about a service that I offer. ProFit Laser Lipo. Did you know that you could lose up to 2 inches in 20 minutes, no downtime, pain, or surgery? 8 sessions are recommended for maximum results. Call today, 480-669-6452, or schedule online at drnanciesintegrativemedicine.com.
You're listening to Dr. Nancy Knows Radio Talk Show. Ask your questions now. Dr. Nancy is listening.
We are back with Micaela Bensko. She is the CEO and founder of VIP, Veterans in Pain, and through voluntary services of physicians, healthcare practitioners, orthobiologics, and alternative medical solutions, she treats veterans. Hundreds of veterans through our nation. And so if you're interested in becoming a volunteer, or if you are a veteran or know of a veteran, please reach out to her at her website here, veteransinpain.org. Micaela, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show, and there's so much to tell, and we have so little time left. But I know that you're blogging as well as a book, too. So tell us about those.
Well, that kind of fell in my lap in an odd way. So the book is The Soldier and the Squirrel. And it introduces our youth to the Purple Heart through the story of a newly wounded soldier. And it started out as a blog. I was trying to find something to do during those 6 years as I was staring at the ceiling fan. And so I love to write. I've always loved to write. And so I just started, I heard about this thing called blogging. I guess I'll write one thing a day. That was my goal. And then one day I couldn't think about anything to write. And I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I don't know I can't do it today. And she said, why don't you write about Rocky? And I'm, okay, all right. And it all just kind of came out. Now, Rocky is our backyard squirrel. And we also have raccoons and rabbits and a bird named Eyebrows because he looks like he has eyebrows. And every day, one of them would pop up. But the one that came most often was Rocky in the trees outside my bedroom window. And he brought me so much joy. And it was a metaphor, or I guess you call it a metaphor, kind of for life, you know? I mean, no matter what you're going through, when you do go through them, you end up, those tiny moments are what seem to matter the most and kind of teach you what life is really about and, you know, readjusting priorities and because they're adjusted for you kind of thing. And so I put it out and the response was incredible. Oh my gosh. So many emails saying, this has to be a children's book. You have to children's book. I'm like, well, then if we're going to do that, then let's have a mission to it. Let's have a purpose to it. And so I put a newly wounded soldier in my place. The dog in there, the service dog in there, Bluebell is my service dog. All of the animals are the animals in the backyard. But it's about him now being home. It's about his boots now being by the door all the time. And his children listening to mommy, seeing mommy crying and say, you know, what's a Purple Heart, mommy? And Rocky was like, is my heart purple too? And so we created the book. And then it took on another life where it developed into a speakers program. So I started bringing it into classrooms and reading it to kids. And that developed kind of a relationship, a rapport between the two of us naturally. And then I tell my story and, you know, the reframing of tragedy as much as I could at the time. I was still in a wheelchair and I could get out every once in a while. And that's when I would go speak to schools, maybe once a month I could get out or something like that. And so then we brought on veterans and we ended up speaking to entire schools. And we had Purple Heart recipients that would come in, they'd sit on the stage, we'd project the book in the background, they would read it to the entire audience. And one time we had 2nd grade through, I believe, 8th grade in the audience. And when we started out, I opened and I bookended the presentation. And I said, how many of you have heard of the Purple Heart? So we're dealing with like 600 kids. 6 kids raised their hands. Only 6 kids had heard of the Purple Heart. So at the end of reading the book, our veterans now tell their story, their recovery, their challenge, and the blessings found within it. So it's all about reframing tragedy and that everybody's tragedy is relative. Everybody's pain levels are relative. A kid walking through the hallway and she has Mount Vesuvius on her forehead and then walks by her crush. That's the most devastating day of her life. So we want to share with kids, not only introduce them early to our veterans, to a wounded warrior and develop that relationship early, but also take our stories and our challenges and relate to them and let them know that no matter what it is, no matter what you're going through, there is a lesson in it. There is a joy. There is a blessing in it, and it will be revealed. Don't go looking for it because you're not going to be able to find it. It's one of those sneaky things, you know. But so that's pretty much what the book's been able to do. And it was sold at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum, so we're very proud of that. And the school system in Ohio Otsego, I think it was Otsego, I'm not sure, but had adopted the Soldier and the Squirrel as their younger grade, their lower grade complement to the Medal of Honor program during Military Appreciation Month.
Well,
For the
that's
upper
amazing.
grades. So it's making its little rounds. But right now, if you purchase, go to thesoldierandthesquirrel.com, 100% of the proceeds are going to Veterans in Pain, and 100% of our donations at Veterans in Pain go directly to the programs and the treatments for our veterans.
Well, isn't she amazing, everyone? Micaela Bensko, oh my goodness. I mean, can you do anything else? It's the book that keeps on giving, and it's building relations, right? And, you know, Micaela has just demonstrated the power of mentorship, her mother, and guidance, and, you know, in the midst of a storm, come up with an idea that has, has fed many people and has built so many relationships and has brought more awareness of what our veterans have done and why they received the Purple Heart. And, you know, you never stop learning and growing. And you start at a very young age, and you want to just pour into our youth so that they are aware of, you know, what it is to fill and build relationships, to nurture and you know, be there for one another. So that's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful information about your book. I know also, Micaela, you have a podcast as well.
We do. It's VIP Vet Talk, and it's growing. We have a YouTube channel for Veterans in Pain as well. And so the video of each podcast is available on there. So, you know, we have some pretty interesting guests. We have one on ketamine, A to Z, everything you'd ever want to know about ketamine. You can go to our website and go to our blog at the very top. You have the link to our YouTube channel. CBD, and we've interviewed manufacturers of medical grade CBD. And I learned so much about that, things you would never even think to ask. Ayahuasca as a plant-based therapeutic modality as well. There's a veteran, and it's, Jesse Gould, and he takes veterans down to Costa Rica, and they have these amazing experiences, which are incredibly powerful, especially for PTSD, depression, anxiety, and chronic pain. So that's just a few.
So listen, I know that you have actually had experienced personally some really triumphant things of late, and you posted on LinkedIn. And I know that, you know, the wheelchair has been in your life for a long time, and you've been up and about for, you know, minutes at a time. But I understand that you're walking, and the dog is walking you and not pulling you.
I am. So crazy thing about what we do is I get to meet really interesting people with proprietary sciences here and there. And I found a product, long story short, and I could talk forever about this, but in October of 2020, and it's now February, in October 6th, I was at a physician symposium and ended up meeting with these wonderful people that were showing a patch, and they were saying that if you put the patch on, then it stimulates the production of your own stem cells. So again, that's too simple. That can't be right. What? Well, by the very next day, I started feeling a difference. So I'm just going to keep wearing them. By Thanksgiving, remember, I was still in a wheelchair, had a mobility van, which is another story. And life is still very restricted. About 4 weeks ago, I guess it was, when I just posted a video to share with everybody, and it was just really fun to see the reactions. I went out for a walk by myself for 35 minutes at night, alone, with my dog, without my chair, and I call it the last 10 pounds of pain, where you cannot get rid of it. In life, you just kind of get to that place of acceptance. I am selling my mobility van this week. Woo-hoo! I'm getting a normal people car. And we've taken the stair lift out of the house. And instead of being able to sit for like an hour and a half, I'm now sitting for 3-4 hours at a time, even longer. sometimes. And one of the days at the symposium, I was able to sit so long, I couldn't believe it. So I've become a distributor for the patch. So it's lifewave.com/Bensko, Bensko, and it's the X39 patch. And I'm just very excited about it. And the company's wonderful, and they're doing everything they can to help us get these patches to our vets as well. So yeah, that's exciting.
Well, you know, Michael, I'm just super, super excited and so proud of you. And, you know, you've been faced with a number of challenges. And listen, everyone, we all have challenges. And it's okay to grieve and deal with it, but don't stay stuck. And Micaela is a prime example of what it means to just keep on moving, keep on keeping on. And
Right.
I just wanted to share that story. I wanted her to share that story with you all because it's everything that we talk about here on Dr. Nancy Knows, is that you know, you can do whatever you want, whatever your heart's desires, if you just believe, and miracles happen every single day. And
And
you
don't
know,
give up hope. Please
and
do not give up hope. I've been there.
hope
I've
is
been
free.
there.
Hope is free. So,
Ugh.
you know, spread hope and joy and love. It's all free. And, you know, Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine is always open to alternative ways to treat medical solutions, medical conditions. And yeah, you know, that's what we're here to do, is to bring more awareness, instill motivation, inspiration, give hope, and lead with love. So listen, Michaela, you are going to stay on because, and now
Boost your awareness, thereby increasing your health and wealth.
we're going to do this segment that I've asked that you give us some helpful tips on how to boost your awareness, you know, through tips on health and or wealth. What do you have for us today?
Well, I kind of put them together because I'm like, I don't know about wealth, but health is wealth. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the richest person on the planet with that. But what I wanted to share mostly is with chronic pain, this is a change that anybody can make. It's free. You can do it yourself. You can be proactive by following these directives. And these are the ones that we give to our veterans. And we tell them these really aren't suggestions. These are biblical. So print it out, put it on your fridge, and follow these every day. And this is an anti-inflammatory lifestyle for you to be able to decrease your pain levels with an understanding that, number one, 90% of pain is inflammation. So anything that you eat and put in your body that creates inflammation will increase your pain levels. So hydrating, drink a ton of water, cut sugar out completely. Oh, you could have your treat every once in a while, but trust me, as soon as you cut out sugars and you cut out alcohol and white foods, so pastas, any type of carbohydrate that can turn into a sugar, that will also exacerbate your pain levels. And if you do this for 1 week and you have a glass of whiskey, because I've done that, and within 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you're going to start feeling a burn where your pain usually is. And it's going to be a shocker for you. So the directives that we have for our veterans is to hydrate, drink 60 ounces of water a day, get on the wagon. Like I said, refrain from any alcohol intake, let the inflammation begin after. This is what we're doing too. This is post procedure. If you're having an orthobiologic procedure, what's so important is that to understand the nature of inflammation with these orthobiologic procedures is that after you have one, inflammation is good. So you don't want to have an anti-inflammatory lifestyle after that. But basically, it's taking control of your life dietary wise too. So let's go. It's called Eat the Rainbow. And this is on our website as well, on our blog. And you can find this as well as in our directives, which is under the Veterans tab. And so eliminate unnecessary systemic inflammation. It's a key. And sorry, I'm going on here and see, it's on our website and you can find it, but everything you need to know about living that anti-inflammatory lifestyle is on our website. Underneath veterans, go to the directives tab. There you go. That's Eat the Rainbow.
Well, that's awesome, Micaela.
Yeah, I'm going to frame the photo.
Oh my goodness. So listen, it was such a pleasure to have you on the show. Anytime you want to come back, we would love to have you. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for your heart and your friendship and all you do for our program. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, good. Bye.
So listen, guys, I have a flyer up that is says the 6 reasons to eat more greens, and it'll speak to what Micaela was actually talking about with regard to inflammation. And if we can put that up, 6 reasons to eat more greens, and it's broccoli, cucumber, lettuce, kale, spinach, and celery. All of these things are really, really great for your immune system and anti-inflammatory. Now listen, we have a wonderful guest that's coming up next week. Her name is Dr. Kamalafe, and she has a PhD in regulatory affairs. And if you don't know what that is, you want to stay tuned to next week when she comes on the show to talk about a couple of different things and what her niche market is. She goes to corporate organizations to help them streamline integrative healthcare practice solutions in their in the way that they handle business with patients, and also the judicial system with individuals that have behavioral health and mental health issues as well. Remember, it's always so nice to have you here. It is not only what Dr. Nancy knows, but it's who she knows. And we want you right back here next week, same time, same day, Saturday mornings at 9 Mountain Central Time. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful week.
Optimal health requires you to perform at your peak potential. Start today. Be the change you wish to see in the world. This was Dr. Nancy Knows. Thank you for connecting. We're waiting for you on our next broadcast here at EMR, E-Motion Radio.